Greetings and welcome, friends. How you doing today? We're taking a look at last night's quest, which was page 24 in our geometry text. We were taking a look at a handful of these problems regarding segment bisector stuff was in there, as well as midpoint and distance formulas. So here's question 9. Let's take a look at this. I'll help you out. I'm here to help you. I'm like your internet math tutor hologram guy. Here we go. Problem 9, identify the segment bisector of xy, then find xy. Xy here without the notation over it is referring to the distance, right? It's a number that represents the length or distance there. So if m is the midpoint here, I could say that mn, the ray, is, man, I keep wanting to write vectors there. Is the segment bisector. Theoretically, you could also say just point M was a segment bisector. Even though it wasn't labeled, you could theoretically say that like the line MN was a segment bisector. Yeah, I mean, all of those things exist even though they didn't draw it there. So any of those could have been legitimate segment bisectors. And now they want us to find the length of XY, which is the entire length. But I'm going to use the fact that since M is the midpoint, xm is going to equal to mar, and since those two things are equal by definition of midpoint, therefore I can now substitute 3x plus 1 is equal to 8x minus 24. Let's solve using some algebra. Bring the little guy over to the big guy. Subtract freaks from both sides. I'll get 1 is equal to 5x minus 24, and now it's just some algebra here. But don't be fooled. Once I'm done this algebra problem, I am not finished with the geometry problem. Let's see, 25 is equal to 5x. Running out of space. Whoa, spoilers. Yikes. Let's see, 5 divide. I'm gonna reflexive property this, flip it around. X equals 5. Which is the solution of x, but that is not the length of xy. If I want to find xy, that is going to equal xm plus my, or 3 times 5 plus 1, plus 8 times 5 minus 24. So let's see. So I'll have order of operations. Here we go. Looks like 16, and then I'd add the 40, so we'll call that 56 minus 24. 56 minus 20 would be 36, minus 4 is 32. So I believe 32 is the length of xy. Actually, I'll unbox that. So the actual answers they were looking for were probably this one and this one. So if you got x equals 5, you might have been like, oh, I got the wrong answer. I thought it was, they said it was 32. Maybe you just didn't, complete the problem entirely. But yeah, so this was using the concept of definition of midpoint. If the segments are congruent, then their measures are equal. And, well, actually, that was def of Kong that technically said that. But the definition of midpoint, if M is the midpoint there, then these two segments are congruent. So, yeah, there we go. Here, let's take a gander at this. Question 19. Find the midpoint M and one endpoint. Let's see. Oh, sorry. The midpoint M and one endpoint of GH are given. Find the coordinates of the t'other endpoint. So I'm assuming M is the midpoint here. Makes sense. Makes sense. We showed you how to do this graphically a little bit yesterday. Actually, let me just give you I think, what did I call it? Did I call it M sub x was the x coordinate, midpoint's x coordinate? You would find that by doing x1 plus x2 all over 2, and M sub y, the y coordinate of the midpoint, would equal the average of the y's, where I just kind of break the midpoint formula in half over my knee, and then I just look really strong while doing it. That's how I did that right there. And now I just plug in what I know, solve what I don't. So it's not a bad idea to label this. So this would be my mx and my. That's my own notation. You won't see that anywhere else. exclusive. I've got exclusive rights for my YouTube channel to use those. So I'll just plug it in. So I'll have 4 is equal to 5 plus x2 div 2. And here I'll have 3 is equal to, wait a minute. I labeled that x2. That's supposed to be y2, y1, my bad. x1, y1, and then x2, y2. Whew. Man, guys, you gotta bust me on these things. What if this was like a 10-minute video and I was just wrong the whole time? That would be embarrassing. So let's see. So to solve, I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 over here. And this is where your second color writing utensil can come in handy. Maybe in like my merchandise store, I can like also sell like second color writing utensils from the official Wadi Math YouTube channel. That'd be pretty good. 6 equals -6 plus y2. And now in order to solve, I'll just subtract 5 from both sides. And over here, I'm doing some simultaneous solving. Yeah, you guys saw this coming from a mile away. So x2 is equal to 3. And y2 is equal to 12. So the other endpoint, end point, is the point 312. Hopefully I got it right. Am I good so far? Maybe. We'll just keep going. Let's see. Oh, 27. I didn't read the instructions. They just wanted the distance, right? I believe. Distance formula is a cousin of Pythagoras and his theorem. X2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared, and then root that whole thing. Side note, algebra experts, remember that you cannot distribute an exponent over addition or subtraction. Same rule applies for radicals. Sometimes students can just be like, oh, this is wrong, by the way. They just be like, oh, that's the same as the square root of that square, and then plus the square root of this thing squared, and then these things just cancel out. That is like super wrong. It is illegal to distribute a square root over addition or subtraction. You can distribute square roots over multiplication and division, however. Maybe you knew that, I don't know. So let's just label what we've got. This is a -8. It's not really showing up there all that great. So that'll be my x1, y1, x2, y2. And now I'm just, I guess I'll keep using yellow. Plug it into the formula. Distance is equal to the square root of 1 minus -8. I know I've got double parentheses there. I'm a spreadsheet guy. Sure, I could have used brackets instead, but I won't couch you wrong if you did that. Plus y2 is 4 minus 0 all squared. Also, be careful that your radical bar, this vinculum, it's called. I don't know if you guys knew that. Excellent name if you ever have a son that you want to have like a strong mathematical name. Just vinculum is a good one. None of my children got to be named that. My wife vetoed it. Let's see, 9 squared plus 4 squared is 16. Well, okay, I'll go a little slower. 4 minus 0 is 4. And you guys see this coming a mile away, don't you? 81 plus 16, that's going to be the square root of 97, which I don't believe as a radical reduces, but you could squeakle sign that. Squiggly equals, approximate it. I'm assuming it's like 9 point something. Maybe it's like 9.8, 9.9. I don't remember. I showed you the book. That's a question for a calculator in most cases. I don't know. I'll just write that. Bam. Well, anyways, thanks for watching, internet friends. Hope you're all having a great day. Looks like Anonymous Ibex is checking out my curriculum calendar over here. Good stuff. Bye-bye.